This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic!
What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is September 1st, 2025. Happy Labor Day. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin, how we doing?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, I forgot. It's a holiday. Labor Day. Good day. Yeah, things are good. Exciting as the calendar turns to September. That means we're one step closer to October, which means one step closer to Magic basketball. How are you doing?
I'm great. We're officially 4 weeks out from Media Day as of today.
Yeah, that's also true. Very exciting.
We have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
On today's episode, we're going to obviously give a little bit of a EuroBasket update as Germany and Georgia continue through the group stage here. Germany basically all but essentially has locked up the next round, moving on to the knockout round. Georgia still has a little bit of work to do, but I think they should be able to figure it out. And then we're going to talk about our 10 most anticipated games of the upcoming season. And bringing back a segment that we did last summer, we're going to do a little Magic show and tell at the end with some of the things that we, either have kept over the years or have acquired or collected and so on and so forth. Kev, so a fun episode today.
Yeah, lots of fun. Obviously, though, some actual basketball has been played this week. We talked about, obviously, Germany's first game on Wednesday in EuroBasket. They have been very convincing and obviously playing Friday and Saturday, and Goga too. We get to talk a little Goga, but yeah, how about Germany?
Germany is on a roll, 3-0 in the group stage here, taking care of Sweden and Lithuania since our last episode. And Georgia, they are now, for some reason I thought they were 2-1. They're 1-2 heading into their final group stage games. Goga did not play against Greece on Sunday. It seems like they're resting him for later in the tournament and maybe kind of figured that Greece was going to win that game anyway. So Georgia essentially has to beat Cyprus and Bosnia and Herzegovina their last couple of games, I believe, if they want a chance to move on to the knockout round. So Goga played pretty well in their first couple of games. No Goga in the Greece game. And then, they've got to win those last two. And in the game against, was it Spain? I think that was where we saw Goga knock down a couple of threes in that game, which, I mean, we've seen him take a few of those the last couple of seasons. And usually when he's on the floor, that's like the worst possible shot that the Magic can take. So seeing him get up two of those, 2 for 4 against Spain, knock down a couple of threes. If Goga can legitimately add that to his game and step out a little bit and knock down some perimeter threes, that is massive for the Magic, Kevin.
That would be insane to see Goga add that. The other thing that's caught my attention with Goga is the look. Have you seen the Goga look
Floga?
Right now? That's one way to call it. I don't know. That's a wild nickname there.
The first person I saw mention that was Philip Rossman Reich. So if that was somebody else and I've not given them appropriate credit, I apologize. But yeah, Floga Batadze. I really like that, actually.
Yeah, he's just letting it go. And it's quite the look. He's a scary looking guy at this point, So, but I love it. I think it's great. Love the intimidating look, but it's working. I mean, he's playing some really good basketball for a team that needs all the help they can get. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean, like, it's not like Goga is playing off other guys getting a lot of attention. Like he's right now just playing well, and like you said, knocking down some threes. That would be kind of crazy if he's able to transfer that over to Magic basketball, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, right now it's all Goga and all Alexander Mamukelishvili for Georgia. Goga right now, 12th in EuroBasket, scoring 18.5 points per game. He's shooting 62.5% from the floor and 37.5% from three, and also adding 4.5 rebounds per game. So Goga playing really well. And then let me try to say this gentleman's name once again. Mamukelishvili is adding 15.3 points per game. So getting a little bit of help there, but yeah, Goga and we'll call him Alexander. They're going to need to step up against Cyprus and against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Going to need to close out that group stage. And then our own Franz Wagner, seventh in tournament scoring, 22.3 points per game. He's shooting 53.5% from the floor. Over his last 2 games, shooting 50% from 3. He's 3 for 6 in their last 2 games. So he's also shooting 37.5% from 3 in the tournament, Kevin.
Yeah, that's something. Obviously not a ton of volume there. But, hey, the percentage is what is important. And the other thing is, Germany is just absolutely blowing these teams out. I mean, they've scored triple digits in all 3 of those games. And so at some level, Franz isn't even getting full minutes or full burn, especially. And to be averaging those numbers is very impressive. But yeah, not surprising. You know, we said beforehand that Germany should make relatively easy work of this group. They still have 1 more game or 2 more left, I believe. It's Great Britain
2.
and Finland. Yeah, the 2 games that are remaining, and neither of those teams really expect to be a big challenge. However, Lauri Markkanen is also kind of going crazy for Finland, and so I guess that'll be a challenge for Germany. But either way, they're looking good heading to the knockout phases. And then, yeah, that's when things get a little dicey. That's when you start to see some of the bigger matchups with, you know, countries like Serbia and France and whomever else might be in the path for Germany. But in the meantime, Franz is looking really good.
Yeah, Lauri Markkanen, second in tournament scoring, only behind Luka Doncic. Go figure. Markkanen 32.3 points per game, shooting 52.8% and 43% from behind the arc. And yeah, just absolutely crazy efficient. Had like the big 40-point game in one of their first couple of games. And then to your point, through 3 games, a 106-76 victory over Montenegro, which we talked about in the last episode. And then in the last 2 games, 105-83 over Sweden and 107-88 over Lithuania, and then Great Britain on Monday. So if you're listening to this early enough on Monday, Germany plays Great Britain at 9:30 Eastern. And then on Wednesday, that'll be at 1:30 Eastern. You're the 24-hour time guy, 13:30.
That's
at
it.
1:30 Eastern time.
You nailed it.
Yeah, that military time. Germany versus Finland there to close out the group phase. And then I feel pretty confident that they're going to go 5-0. It depends, you know, if they go 4-0, lock it up. You know, do they want to be, I guess at that point, Finland, let's see Finland. I don't know that they have dropped a game just yet in the tournament here. Looking at their games. Yeah, so it really might come. The winner of the group most likely will come down to that final game. So Germany should play all their guys, and feel pretty confident that Germany will be able to come out of that group as the 1 seed there as they go into the knockout round. So, but yeah, Franz has been playing phenomenal basketball. Tristan da Silva also adding 5 points and I think just over 3 rebounds per game. So he was pretty shaky in like the friendly matchups, the minutes that he got. But kind of getting into his own, feeling a little bit more comfortable in his role for Team Germany. Going back to that game against Sweden, Kev, Franz in 22 and a half minutes, 21 points, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 11 from the floor, 1 of 2 from behind the arc. Tristan also added 7 points in that one in almost 19 minutes, as well as 6 rebounds. And we see Dennis Schroeder starting to get going as well. 23 points for Dennis in that one. Then if we move on to the last game that they had here against Lithuania, in that one, Franz Wagner, 24 points in 28 minutes, added 7 rebounds, 4 assists as well. Tristan da Silva in almost 16 minutes had 5 points, 2 rebounds, and Dennis Schroeder 26 points. So Franz and Dennis, the 6th and 7th ranked scorers in the tournament in terms of points per game right now. That 2-headed German team, those are the guys that we expected to play really well coming into this tournament. So far, no surprises. Germany rolling through that Group B.
Yeah, and it's much of the same as what we said on Thursday's show after their first game, where a lot of these teams, they just have no answer for Franz. Like the combination of the size, the speed, the moves in the paint, they've got nothing, no response, no way to slow him down. And sometimes it's Germany getting in their own way. I feel sometimes, Franz can get it going, can start getting hot, and then all of a sudden Germany goes away from him for some reason. But yeah, all in all, a lot of these teams, very similar boat. They just have no answer, and obviously that's showing on the stat sheet. But again, we knew this was going to be the case. We knew most of these games would be relatively easy, although this might have been so far even easier than even I expected for Germany. But again, the real challenge will be in the knockout rounds, facing some of the best teams in Europe. And so we'll see how that goes.
Do you find it interesting at all that Victor Wembanyama is not playing for France?
Maybe a little bit. I can't remember. I remember that was announced. I thought it was announced earlier this summer. That sounds vaguely familiar.
That they just going to work on his game and whatnot.
Yeah. And so, I mean, maybe a little bit surprising, but a guy his age that's already had some health issues, I don't know. It sounds about right for me, considering it's not one of the major tournaments. It's not an Olympics. It's not a World Cup. I'm not super surprised.
Guy doesn't seem like a real patriot to me. I don't know.
Okay. Guy's just scared of Franz. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
France is afraid of Franz, baby.
There you go. France.
Okay, so yeah, coming up those games Monday and Wednesday, and then I believe Georgia's next game is Tuesday as well. Let me go ahead and pull up that team schedule really quickly here for Georgia.
It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, and they play Cyprus. That's right. Yep, Cyprus. And then, like we said, Bosnia Herzegovina. That'll be on Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern. So if you're up and you want to watch some Goga Batadze basketball, you'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
All right, EuroBasket's been fun so far. Again, like we said, Germany's kind of been coasting. So looking forward to them getting into the knockout round and those games having a little bit more stakes and being a bit more competitive, because Germany's just been making light work of that Group B.
The Six Man Show is brought to you by Jam Hot Chicken. Jam Hot Chicken, located at 400 West New England Avenue, Suite 13 in Hannibal Square in beautiful Winter Park, Florida. They're bringing jams, culture, and hot chicken to the heart of Winter Park. We love Jam Hot Chicken, not only because they make the best chicken in Central Florida, but also because they are die-hard Orlando Magic fans who aren't just a fan of the team, they're a fan of you. They're a fan of the Orlando Magic fan community. When you go to Jam, you'll see some Orlando Magic, nods at Orlando Magic, memorabilia and little things like that. Look at the branding. Just go look at it. You'll see nods to T-Mac and to Penny and maybe a little bit of Shaq, a little bit of Dwight. Just go look at all the little details. There's a little bit of magic everywhere you look there. And again, it's because they love Orlando Magic fan culture, and that's why we love them. You can follow them on social media at Jam Hot Chicken, or check out their website, jamhotchickenfl.com, where you can access the menu, order online, and see all things Jam Hot Chicken. Big shout out to Jam Hot Chicken for sponsoring the show. And when you go check them out, be sure you let them know that the Six Man Show sent you.
This episode is also brought to you by R Improv 221, Himlo, Ben Himro, Die Hard from ATL, Teddy Sylvia, and Ty Mr. TV. These are some of our Hall of Fame and elite tier patrons that help financially support the show and help us do everything that we do. And when we have brand new patrons, we also give them a very special shout out. So a shout out to Flavor Saver. What a wild name. Welcome to the community. Appreciate your support. So if you want a special shout out just like that, you can head over to patreon.com/the Six Man Show. For as little as $2 a month, you can help support what we do. And then we have other additional tiers with different benefits, like access to our Discord community, where we're closing in on 100 patrons there. Where we have folks talking about Orlando Magic basketball and college football and all different kind of things, literally 24/7 from around the world. And we can't do any of this without your support. So if you like what we do, you like the content that we create, you like that we're trying to grow this Orlando Magic fan community, again, head on over to patreon.com/the Six Man Show. Pick whatever tier works best for you. A big thank you to all of our patrons. And now let's go ahead and get back to the episode. So, Kev, the other thing that we wanted to go through today that we thought would be a fun conversation as we look ahead here to the regular season starting, in what do we have?
7 weeks?
7 weeks now at this point, I think it is. We thought it would be fun to take a look at what we think are our top 10 like highly or most anticipated games of the year, and like starting at the most anticipated and going through like basically like our top 10. Do you want to take first honors here?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to go the opposite way? Do you want to go 10-1?
We could do that.
I'm feeling that. Do you have any honorable mentions first? Because I have a couple my list started at 12 and I cut it down to 10. So I have 2 honorable mentions.
No, by the time I got to 9 and 10, they felt more like honorable mentions. Not that we're, of course, not excited about every single game.
Right.
And as we go through the season, the dynamic of the season and the standings and all that are going to change. And we're going to be saying things like in February, this is the biggest game of the year. And then we're going to have another game in, March. Okay, now, no, this is the biggest game of the year. We'll have another one in April. Okay, no, this actually is the biggest game of the year. Like that'll continue to happen throughout the season.
Or the opposite will happen. Like there are some games we have circled that maybe the team that I have circled isn't as good as we think they are. And so that game becomes less important. Or, maybe it's a big conference showdown and the Magic are already 63-0. And so this game doesn't really matter that much for conference standings, So
Right.
We can
go ahead. Go through your honorable mention first, if you have.
I'll just throw my quick 2 honorable mentions. I'm curious if either of these are on your top 10. My first of my 2 honorable mentions was the game at Denver on December 18th. I put this there because it's the first game of the first West road trip, and it is the first game, if I'm remembering correctly, the first game after the NBA Cup gap, essentially. And so I have that one. And plus, I think Denver's going to be really good this year. So I think it could be a good test all the way around. And then my other one is also out west on the second West Coast road trip, the game at the Clippers, another team that I think is going to be pretty good, but that's the second night of a back-to-back at the Intuit Dome. So those are my 2 honorable mentions. Either of those on your list? I expect not.
They are not. Okay, however, the Denver one, I that's a fair honorable mention. The Clippers one, I don't care as much about. I'm glad, that it's not like a crazy late start or anything.
Yeah.
But no, I'm totally fine with those as honorable mentions.
All right. I want to hear maybe your number 10. You want to get us started here?
My number 10 is February 9th, Magic versus Milwaukee at home. The return of Cole Anthony and that other guy that used to wear number 14.
Gary Harris. Yes. That's nice. And the return of not one, but 2 Antetokounmpos. I don't know if you saw that. You saw who's back today? Who signed with the Bucks?
Thanasis?
Yeah, he's back.
I didn't even know he had left.
Well, it's free agent type thing. I don't know.
I mean,
but
okay. That was never
so he
not
resigned.
happening.
But this is actually a really good sidetrack because let me pull up the Shams tweet because it was wild. Like he led with the signing and then he threw something in at the very, very end. Thanasis Antetokounmpo is signing a guaranteed 1-year, $2.9 million deal to return to Milwaukee, blah, blah, blah. He played for the Bucks from 19 to 24. This also means after a summer of exploring options, Giannis is staying in Milwaukee to start the season.
Dude, Shams needs to let that go.
He just throws that in at the end. Like, that's the most important part of that whole tweet.
But he's been trying to hint at that all offseason.
That's true.
And so many people have been, like Milwaukee people have been saying this is complete bullcrap. There's no truth to any of this.
That's true.
So it's like his last little chance to like, oh, look, well, I wasn't totally wrong, so I'm going to throw this in at the end. Like, that's just kind of whack, but
yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good number 10. I will say that is on my list, but we'll have to wait and see where that is. My number 10, I totally cheated. All right, I'm cheating right at the very, very beginning. It's 2 games, but it's a back-to-back, March 16th and March 17th at Atlanta versus OKC, back-to-back. Totally cheating, but I'm taking it. I think that's the tough. I was looking at the schedule again as we were going through this. To me, that's the toughest back-to-back of the season. I know one of them is at home, and there's a road back-to-back that is also really tough. I can't remember what it is, like Minnesota, Milwaukee, or something like that. But yeah, at Atlanta, excuse me, and then home to OKC, back-to-back in March. That's my number 10.
So you've got 11 games on your list of 10.
I actually have 12 games on my list.
Okay, that's completely ridiculous. Well, you already stole one of mine.
Yep. You stole one of mine.
I have the OKC game a little bit higher up on the list. So my number 9 is going to be November 28th, Magic at Detroit. That's an NBA Cup game.
Jonathan,
And although
that's my number 9. Look at us.
Oh, look at us freaking go, dude.
Amazing.
Although, I don't know if you have the Philadelphia NBA Cup game on here. I believe that's a nationally televised. I think it might be like a Peacock game, if I remember correctly. But I just don't buy into the Philadelphia like hype. Like Joel Embiid is, maybe this is going to be a freezing cold take, but he's never going to be the same player that he was before. Like the knee stuff is still bothering him after barely playing last year. Paul George, I think, is a shell of himself. Like Tyrese Maxey is really good, but he can only do so much as effectively their best player right now. So I'm looking forward to getting a not so early, but kind of early test against Detroit in a game that has stakes in that NBA Cup game, and that's part of a nice little road trip that the Magic have.
Yeah, it is. I do not have that Philadelphia game that you're referring to, but yeah, that is an NBC game.
Okay. So yeah, it's a really like a nationally televised game.
Yeah, it's a real one. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, my number 8 is also the same game. Big stakes. It's a team in the
same. Your number 8 or your number 9?
My number 9. Sorry, did I say 8? Yep, my number 9. Detroit is a team in the same trajectory, I guess, as the Magic. Maybe not exactly the same part of that trajectory, but a young team in the East building around some really solid pieces. And so I think that'll be a good test. And like you said, it very likely could determine the outcome of the Magic's Cup group. Number 8 for me, also an NBA Cup game. It's the first one, Friday, November 7th against Boston at home. First game of the NBA Cup. Also the first time we see Boston this season. I'm thinking number 1, revenge for last year. Number 2, I want to see Boston without Jason Tatum, without Kristaps Porzingis, without on and on and on. See how this Magic team matches up with that Boston team. Would love to see a comfortable win, but again, also the added spice of it being the NBA Cup. That is my number 8. What you got?
I thought about putting a Boston game in here, but I just don't think they're going to be that good. Like I think the Magic should comfortably be better than Boston. My number 8 is going to be the second game of the year, like the first early test for us. 10-24 Magic versus Atlanta. I think some way or another that 3rd, 4th seed is going to be the Magic and the Hawks. Yeah. Hawks might take a little bit of time to figure things out and find out what the best fit for everyone is. They've got so many new guys on that roster, but just a ton of talent. Magic should win opening night, like going away against Miami. If they don't, it'll be a letdown. So that next game is, to me, like the first real test of the season.
I like it. Yeah, I don't have that one on my list. I do have another Atlanta game on my list, though. But yeah, that's a good one.
As do I.
Oh, well. Okay. All right. That was 8. I'll go with my number 7. Mine is January 24th at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So this is our first look at these Cleveland Cavaliers in a head-to-head matchup, at least on the season. It's at home. It's, if I remember correctly, the second game after the Europe trip. And so that's also a little bit interesting. Yeah, it is the second game after the Europe trip, seeing how the Magic are able to bounce back from that obviously very long trip. But also, like I said, first look at Cleveland. And still, it's not a real rivalry, maybe, but it's still a little bit of a rivalry, I think. I think there's still some bad blood between the two teams. And so that's why I've got him number 7 on my list. I think it's a really important game. And again, also, very likely going to be the best team in the East statistically through the regular season, at least on paper right now. And so it's another litmus test for this team to see how the Magic stack up against them as you go.
No, I do think, if for no other reason, like if we're talking about rivalry, if for no other reason that if you do want to be, one of the best 2 teams in the East this year, you're going to have to best Cleveland and, you're going to have to pick up some wins against them. So I like that one. Yep. Number 7, you already mentioned this one, but Magic versus OKC. Second night of a back-to-back. The last couple of years, we've gotten absolutely stomped by OKC at home. So, like, those 2 games, maybe I want to cheat like you did and throw 2 games in here, but that Atlanta, you're at Atlanta, then you come home for OKC. Like, if the Magic are in contention for the 1, 2, or 3 seed in the East, and you somehow sweep that 2-game like little series going into the last month of the season, that is a statement and would just be massive. I think for like morale and just what it could mean for that team, like to sweep a I don't think it's a weekend, but to sweep a 2-game series like that would just be massive. So I've got Magic versus OKC at Kia Center on March 17th in the number 7 spot.
Question for you. You mentioned the Magic getting blown out by the Thunder the last 2 seasons. There's a common denominator there. You and I were there for both of those
I ain't going
games.
to this one.
I was about to say, I'm not going to this one. No way. And if we win, I will never go see the Magic play the Thunder ever again unless it's in the NBA Finals.
Sure.
But anyway, I was wondering about that because as you're reading that, I was like, I'm not going to that game. That's been miserable the last 2 years.
Definitely not.
Oh, that's so funny. How about your, what are we on, 6?
We're on 6 now. So number 6, I've got the Magic's first matchup or is it the first matchup of the, I don't know if it's the first. I think it is the first matchup of the year. Maybe it's not. Against the Knicks, November 12th, Magic at New York. I don't think it's the first, but this one's on national TV. It's on ESPN.
I think it is the first, by the way.
Is it the first?
It's also on my list, yeah.
I had a feeling that it could be, but yeah, Magic at New York. It's on ESPN, nationally televised game. And again, if you want to be one of the, top 2 seeds in the Eastern Conference, you're going to have to go through Cleveland. You're going to have to go through New York. So just a massive game on ESPN at MSG. Another opportunity for the Magic to make a big early season statement.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that one's on my list here in a little bit. We'll get to that in a second. In the meantime, my number 6 is the second matchup against the Hawks. You had the first one on the first Friday of the season, minus the second one, Tuesday, November 4th at Atlanta. I have it because it is a Hawks game, but more importantly, I have it because it is the Magic's first NBC game of the season, first NBC game since like 2000 or whatever year it was that the NBC dropped the NBA. And so I'm very excited to see that. I think NBC has a terrific group of broadcasters, commentators. And so I'm excited to get to see the Magic in that, kind of environment and that atmosphere. And same reasons you mentioned for the first Atlanta game, it's going to be, at least on paper, the toughest division opponent this season, like probably by a significant margin, I think. And so, again, seeing how you stack up, every one of those division games matters, especially for tiebreakers and things. You talked about potentially the anywhere from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th seed, maybe even 1st, who knows, potentially involving the Magic and the Hawks. So tiebreakers are very important. Division games very important. All those reasons, I've got number 6 at Atlanta on NBC on November 4th.
I have that game on my list.
Okay.
But not there.
Okay.
So who do you have for number 5?
Number 5, I go back to I think it was number 10, February 9th, the return of Cole Anthony and Gary Harris coming home, well, sort of home, back to Orlando for both of those guys. That's going to be interesting. Obviously, it's all, I kind of compare it to remember when Dwight made his first appearance back at Kia Center in that playoff game in 2024, I guess it was. And we felt like they paired him with Rashard Lewis just in case, the natives were a little bit restless. And like, you can't boo Rashard. And so now if you put Dwight next to him, then no one's going to boo, right?
Sure.
It might be one of those things with the Cole Anthony, Gary Harris thing. Like, it'll be interesting. Like, maybe who coaches Milwaukee these days? Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, hears some rumblings like, hey, the fans love Cole. They don't love the other guy. You should sub them both in at the same time. And then the Magic fans are forced to cheer. But anyway, I don't know. That's stupid. But either way, it's going to be a special night, obviously mainly for Cole, because of his tenure in Orlando. But we all know, like, he wears his emotions on his sleeve. And so I think it's going to be really special. And the fans love Cole. And so to be able to show that appreciation, I think it's going to be a really special moment. But yeah, that's February 9th, return of Cole and Gary. That's my number 5.
So is it to me now?
Yeah, you're number 5. I haven't
number
heard your
5. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned a matchup against Cleveland. I have a different matchup against Cleveland. This one, March 24th, Magic at Cleveland. That game on NBC. That's going to be like the last, three and a half weeks of the season, that's a game that I have circled that like very well could decide the East or could decide, the 2 seed or the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. So I think we're going to get to that game and we're going to go, hey, dude, like this is the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
And it's on NBC, obviously. So,
yeah.
Which I meant to ask you this when you were talking about the Atlanta game that's going to be on NBC. What are your like kind of hopes and expectations for this NBC broadcast?
I think the NBC broadcasts, especially later in the season when they get Sunday night, once NFL stops, I think NBC is going to make them feel like the biggest games of the week. I really do. Yeah. I think they're going to hype it up really well. They have, again, some of the best commentators in sports already. And I think it's going to be great. I hope I'm right. I think they're going to do it justice. And again, I think the Magic, unfortunately, don't have any of those Sunday night games currently. Obviously, things can flex, things can change. But the Tuesday night games will be big, especially early on in the season. That's why I'm excited that the Magic get the third Tuesday night of the season. Like I think the NBA and NBC is going to hype it up, that Atlanta game. But again, those Sunday night games, how Sunday Night Football is on NBC.
Yeah,
like it feels
waiting all day
huge
for Sunday night.
Yeah, it feels huge. I love obviously NBC's football anthem. Like the soundtrack is so sick. Like they put their best effort forward, like their best cameras, their best everything. I think that NBC is going to do that as well. So that's my expectation. And I know I'm just setting myself up to be absolutely royally disappointed if that doesn't happen.
The only thing that I want is to watch it and be like, oh, they don't hate basketball.
Right.
They don't hate like this current iteration of the NBA. Like I want it to be like a celebration of basketball and of the way that the game is played today, because I think it's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
Like sure, you could talk about some of the rest stuff, but like just from like a pure basketball standpoint, I don't know how you really argue that like basketball in previous eras and generations is better than what we get to see now. And I hope it's like a celebration of like the good young talent in the league, especially like in a matchup, like you talked about, like the Atlanta game, right? Like Paolo Banchero and Franz and Desmond Bain and Trae Young and Jalen Johnson and Zachary Reese-Shea. Like there's so much good young talent in that game. Like I hope it's really hyped up the way that way that you're describing.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so is it to me for number 4?
Is that where we are? I did 5. Yep. Yeah, number 4. Go for it.
So number 4, I've got one of the Magic versus Memphis matchups, January 18th in London for obvious reasons.
That's a good one. I have that on my list later as well. That's my twofer coming up. Anyway.
Oh, another one. Okay. That's cheating. Okay.
My number 4, I'm wondering if you have this on your list or if you only have the one OKC game, because this is where I put at OKC on February 3rd. This is our first look at the defending champions. It's on the road at OKC, a place the Magic have really struggled the last several years. And again, it's the ultimate test in the NBA right now. OKC, best team in the league last year, looks to be the best team in the league this year. And it's the ultimate test. And so, and you're on the road. So that just takes it up another notch. That's my number 4, a really, really big test for this team. And I'm very curious to see how the Magic handle it.
I can't stand those guys, so I'm only getting excited about them playing them once. And it's the home game because we've got to win one. We already established you and I won't be there.
Yep.
But, like I don't expect you to go into OKC and get a win, but you better find a way to get at least one this season, and it's got to be at home.
To be the best, you got to beat the best. And so for right now, as much as I can't stand them, they are the standard. They're the champions.
Yeah.
And so I do want to see how we stack up against the best.
Sure.
So yeah, that's why I've got a number 4.
That.
Number 3, this is where I have the same Knicks game that you mentioned earlier. I've got November 12th at MSG. It's our first test against, again, on paper, what looks to be the quote-unquote elite of the East. Now, you could argue Atlanta. We don't really know. But if you just take New York and Cleveland, this is our first test of the year against one of those two teams. Like you mentioned, it is at MSG. Anytime you go to MSG, there's just a different spikes to it. It's just something special. And it's on ESPN. And so all those things, I think it's a really, really big game to have circled on the calendar. And so that's what I've got at number 3. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is the first NBC game of the year, Magic at Atlanta on
Very
NBC. Just like you had mentioned, it's the first NBC game of the year, and the Magic being in that slot, just like really hyped up to see that. We're going to see Atlanta, a couple of weeks earlier, obviously, but like for both teams, it's going to be a chance to get one back. So if the Magic get that first one, Atlanta's going to be at home. They're going to be looking to get that one back. If the Magic drop one at home, they're going to be looking to get back another one on the road. And like, if Atlanta can put it together relatively early in the season, like if they don't really hit their stride until, late December or January, I think the Magic have an opportunity to create some space between themselves and Atlanta. But if Atlanta just like comes out of the gates humming, the Magic, the Hawks, the Cavs, and the Knicks are going to be fighting for 1 through 4, I think, all season long.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Let's hear your number 2, your second one.
My number 2, opening night, Magic versus the Heat, just because the first game of the year, obviously a bitter in-state rival. You have to have a win. In my opinion, it needs to be convincing. It's so important for the Magic to start this year off right, just given like everything that they went through last year, and like adding Desmond Bane, adding Tyus Jones, everybody being healthy, having Jalen Suggs back, all that kind of stuff. Like this, if the Magic start like, I don't even want to put this out into the universe, I'm going to knock on wood here, but if they start like 5-7, we're not going to be feeling good 12 games into the season.
No.
Now, on the other hand, they start 9-3, 8-4. We're going to be like, yeah, this is exactly what we thought we were getting. So I just, maybe in the grand scheme of things, it isn't ultimately important, but especially for the vibes, it's important to get off to a good start.
Absolutely agree. My number 2 is my 2-for-1, my second 2-for-1. It's the Berlin and London games combined into one here. The trip to Europe, I think it's really special. Obviously, the London game is fun, but the Berlin game, which I'm sure is probably your number 1 in just a moment, is very, very special. I'll save the floor for you for that one to explain why. And then my number 1 is opening night as well. October 22nd against Miami. For me, what puts this at I really struggled between this and Berlin, but what puts this at number 1 for me, puts it just over the top, is the rebrand as well. Like I know we're going to see it for a couple games in the preseason, but when you combine the rebrand and the win now mode and the Desmond Bane and it's against Miami and all of these things, I just think it's going to be a really special atmosphere on opening night. And it's a recipe for a lot of fun, assuming things go well. If they don't go well, though, to your point, you start to, again, long season, but you start to go, hold up, what do we miss? What are we missing? You said, to paraphrase, you said basically like that's a game we should win convincingly. I agree. All I really care about though is a win with respectable offense. That's what I care about. I think if the defense struggles, I can't believe I'm sitting here breaking down a game that's 2 months away, but if the defense struggles, I will be less worried because that is something I know this team can ratchet up and get used to and focus in on. If the offense struggles, that's when I'll be worried. Even if we blow them out, like I need to see some good offense on October 22nd. But anyway, that is my number 1 most anticipated game of the season. I cannot wait to see this team play a competitive game in the flesh. It's going to be a lot of fun. And your number 1 is...
Well, I wanted to go back to your number 1 and my number 2 because honestly, I hadn't really thought about that element of it. Not only like the rebrand, yes, but like there's going to be so much excitement in that building and like the anticipation of, hey, this could be a really special team. This could be a really special season. We're going to have the new floor, the new jerseys, Desmond Bane making his debut, Tyus Jones making his debut, Jalen Suggs first game back in Kia Center in 9 months.
Yeah,
something like that.
10 months. It was January, right?
Yeah.
So 10 months.
Yeah.
January to October. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
Or 9. Yeah.
It's
whatever.
9. It is 9. Look,
Fine,
I'm
whatever.
the guy that's bad at math here. You better watch your back.
Yeah.
But no, so like just all of that combined, like the reason that I have the Berlin game number one, because it really does feel like a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity for everybody involved. But it's also like that first game against Miami is like the start of like a new era that could be super, super special. So, I mean, 1, 2, no matter how you flip it, not mad at that at all. But yeah, like I think it's even cooler that the Berlin game is the first of the Euro trip. Obviously, it would still feel really cool if it was the second game, but I think there is something just a little bit more special about that being the first game of the trip. And Franz and Mo, especially playing in Berlin, their hometown. Tristan, obviously being, from Germany, playing in that game. It's just like we always talk about like how we model a lot of the things that we do after like European sports culture, and me never have being out of the continent of North America, going to Europe for the very first time, and 24 hours later, like experiencing something like this that really should be such a special night for everyone involved. I literally cannot wait for that. I just think it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be so much fun, and yeah, it's going to be very
to your
special.
credit, like I was excited initially, but you were the one that really initially made the point of like, hey, this is going to be like the coolest thing ever for Franz and Mo. And as excited as I was, like you made me even more excited for these games.
I do that sometimes. I get people excited. Anyway, okay. I have a follow-up question. As you look at this list, I want you to count how many of these games are in October or November.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
I also have 5
for me. Yeah.
So there's a couple reasons. Obviously, part of it is a lot of the things that we drew from were their quote unquote firsts, first NBC game, first matchup against blah, blah, blah. But regardless, that's one thing I pulled from this is like, wow, the Magic have some pretty serious games in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And we knew that obviously when we broke down the schedule a few weeks ago, but writing this all out made me go, wow, there are some big ones, some ones that we're really excited about, some ones that are really good tests. And so, yeah, that just kind of made me realize we're going to get a pretty quick idea of this team in the first 4 to 5 weeks of the year.
On the other hand, that I've got a couple that are in March, like those are 7 months away still, right? Yeah, like it's hard for me to be like super, I am fired up for a couple of these that I listed, but like, I think, when we're in the moment, like we're going to be nervous for some of these games, but it's hard for me to put a lot of that stuff over the stuff that's like in the near future,
right?
That, we're kind of far, but not that far away from getting some of this stuff. So it's going to be a great season. I know we've said this a million times, and you all watching and listening can agree to this. I'm just ready for the season to start. 4 weeks until media day as you're listening to this, 7 weeks until the season starts, and then we're back, baby.
We are so back. Hopefully, not too long from now. But this was fun. Again, some really big games. I'm curious if you're watching this on YouTube or maybe listening to this on podcast. Let us know either in the comments or on Twitter or something. Instagram, maybe. Let us know what are the games that you've got circled on the calendar, things that you're super excited about. What games have your interest, at least now, as we turn the calendar to September. And obviously, like we said, these are subject to change, Who knows? Boston may be terrible. They might be terrible 2 weeks in. And so that first game on November 7th against them may mean nothing. Maybe Atlanta's not that good. And so maybe the games later in the year against them mean nothing. And so all that's subject to change. But yeah, very, very exciting stuff.
Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to end this one with a quick segment of Magic Show and Tell. We started this last season. It was a great idea that Kevin had. Being the Magic fanatics that we are, that is not exclusive to just like watching and talking about the games. Like Kevin has quite the hat collection. I think probably 95% of it are Orlando Magic hats. 90% of my wardrobe is Orlando Magic something or other. I have been trying to branch out a little bit from that because just everyone in my life, they just like, oh yeah, Jonathan just wears Magic stuff all the time. And me thinking about it, it's not really weird because it's just what I like. But if I were to think of someone and be like, oh, all that guy wears is like Tampa Bay Bucks stuff, I'd be like, he's kind of a little, a little weird. So I've been trying to branch away from that.
To be fair, we are weird. Let's establish that we are
100%, 100%, yeah. But so yeah, we have a lot of Magic stuff. Kev, do you want to go ahead and get us started here?
Sure. Full transparency, I do not remember what I showed last year. And so
yes,
I also am being lazy. I'm not going into my bin of Magic stuff. I'm only going to grab from some of the stuff that sits on the shelf behind me. What do I want to do first? I want to grab this guy here. This segment is probably best enjoyed on YouTube, by the way. Yeah. Just because we're going to show some stuff off. I guess this is going to be 2 for 1. This is a little display I put on the right side of the shelf. But first off, I have the 2009 Blue and White Ignite Cup from...
Love that.
This would have been Game 6 against Boston, that game. That was a lot of fun. But what I really grabbed this for was even more retro. This is a like medallion thing. I don't know. It kind of looks like Mardi Gras beads from the 2007 playoffs against the Detroit Pistons when we got absolutely shellacked and swept. But this was the now infamous Code Blue era, which, if you know anything about medical terms, that's a terrible... As someone who spent a long time in hospitals last year, Code Blue is not a good thing. And so for the Magic, marketing folks, God bless them, but to do Code Blue and for us to get swept as we did in 2007, that was a pretty miserable time. But it is significant because it was, I think that was my first playoff game I ever attended. So for me personally, that was significant. But it was also like the ultimate growth test of that core, because that was coming up against one of the best teams in the league and one of the best franchises, borderline dynasty, the Pistons, basically from 2004 to 2007 or so, maybe 2008. But yeah, it was Dwight and Jameer and Hito, their first real taste of the playoffs, and they got to taste the best team in the East at the time, and they got absolutely destroyed. But it was a good foundation for the future for that core. So anyway, I'm going to go with this Code Blue medallion.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Did you just say they got to taste the best team in the league?
They got a taste of one of the best teams in the league. Yeah, I said what I said. I stand by it.
That's a very interesting choice of words.
All right, you said I get you excited, there. So you take your pick.
So you had a few items. Did you just blow through all of them?
No, I was only going to do the medallion, and then I remember what cup it was in, so I threw that in.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, no, that was just one.
Okay, let me roll away here to grab my first. It's a couple of items, but they're all kind of the same thing.
All right. Whee! I was doing sound effects while you were rolling away. And that's going to stay, hopefully. Nice, it stays. All right, let's see what we got here. He's rolling back.
So I think I've acquired all of these in the last year. And I don't have them on display in my office here just yet, but each of these are some of the most favorite items that I have in my collection. So the first thing that I have here is a Franz Wagner autographed jersey. This is the the classic edition that they wore a couple of seasons ago. And along with that, and I got both of these because I got a wicked deal on buying both of them together. I got the Jalen Suggs autographed jersey of the same thing. And then this next one here, in my opinion, I got it on eBay, and it was an absolute steal. I'm not going to disclose how much I paid for it, but it's priceless to me. I have the Nikola Vucevic autographed jersey as well here, and this is like the old school Adidas blue and silver fan pinstripes, the jersey that we all know and love / hate. Yeah. So yeah, I believe each of those I've acquired in the last year, and I've got a Shaquille O'Neal jersey here in the office that needs to come down. And I'm probably going to swap out. I might take Nick Anderson down just because I've had the jerseys. Listen, the jerseys that I have up here, I've had up now for almost 3 years, and I just want to rotate. I just want to look at a little something different, and I want to get Franz and Jalen and Vooch up on the wall here. And if you know somebody who has a Paolo Banchero, classic edition jersey that's signed, I would really like to complete the set, the big three, the trio of those guys. So if you do, holler at your boy.
Very nice, very nice. That is excellent. I do love that one. Okay, you want to do your number 2 next?
My number 2, stall because I got to grab it.
Okay, I'll start my number 2 while you're doing that. My number 2 is over my right shoulder here. It's this guy. Another cup. This is just a little pom-pom thing. It's not even, I don't even think I got that at a Magic game. I think it's just Magic colors. This one, say what year? I don't know what year it was, but it was a year in which the Orlando Miracles were still around. Miracle were still around. In addition to the OG original Solar Bears here. But yeah, the main star of the show, obviously the old school Magic logo, but then the main star of the show was the Orlando Miracle. Which now that I say it out loud, the Miracle were not around very long. I want to say like 2 or 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. So we can narrow this window down pretty well. I want to say like 99 to 2002 or something like that. Or 2000, 2002, something like that. So somewhere back then, very, very early Kevin Orlando Magic fandom era. But early enough to get my hands on this. I mean, I wonder how many people on planet Earth have Orlando Miracle stuff in their home. So if you do, let me know in the comments. I know there's definitely a lot of Magic Maniacs who watch this show that have it. But anyway, that's my number 2. I think it's pretty cool.
I'm actually really jealous. I'm actually looking up Orlando Miracle stuff on eBay right now because I feel like I need something. Because right now I currently don't.
Right. That would be pretty cool.
I definitely need to do that. The next thing that I have, I'm pretty confident that I shared this last year, but it's still one of my most favorite things that I have here. So this is a game ticket from the 2009-2010 season opening night when we raised the Eastern Conference Finals banner. So this would have been, what date is this? Wednesday, October 28th. Magic versus the 76ers, and this is like the opening night Eastern Conference Championship special edition ticket. It's actually a ticket from that game. Section 236, row S, seat 1, and this would have been in the old, now kaboomied Amway Arena.
That's right, old school. That's very nice. I do like that one. It looks very shiny. Looks very nice.
Yeah, it's like foil kind of stuff on it. It's cool looking.
All right, would you like to do your number 1? You want me to do my number 1?
Well, I didn't do them in any type of order, but this would be the last item. So this is actually something that Kevin and I received on our trip to DC a couple of weeks ago now. It is a signed edition of Jonathan Isaac's book, Why I Stand. So as part of that event, we received this in like a little gift bag, which was a very nice touch. And I have and haven't read this book, if that makes sense. So I purchased this book when it first came out, but I listened to the audiobook, which is really good because Jonathan Isaac actually is the voice of the audiobook. And I appreciate this because it's a signed copy, which is really cool. This might be one of the craziest things that I've ever said on the podcast, but I need everybody to follow me here. Okay. I feel like, I'm just going to go right to it. You know the book that was written by O.J. Simpson that says in bright, the bold that says, I did it, but then there's a little if at the top, if I did it.
Right.
Like his book detailing, the murder of, I cannot believe I don't remember. Was it Nicole Smith? What was his wife's name? And then
Nicole,
Ron Perlman. Yeah. Nicole Simpson, what an idiot. And then Ron Perlman. That's a very, controversial and polarizing cover because it grabs your attention and then you think oh, I'm going to read this and find this out. The Why I Stand name of the book and the cover to me is oh, so many people are going to see this and think it's a political thing because so much of what came from that was really the conversation. So people are going to see this, and people who are oh, this guy's just an America-loving, conservative guy. I'm going to read this and read about why he stuck it to the other side that I don't like. And then on the other side is oh, Why I Stand. If you're on the other side, you don't agree with whatever was said, you maybe not like that, you want to read this. But this details his entire life story about the battles that he faced with anxiety and everything like that. Early on in his life, and then he talks all about giving his life to Jesus and that being the real reason why he stands. So because what this book is about And obviously the fact that it was a gift and is a signed copy, obviously I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's very nice. Very, very cool. All right, my last one. I might have done this last year. If so, I'm sorry. I was at opening night of the now Kia Center, at the time Amway Center, the first regular season game. And the giveaway that night, if I can unfurl it, was this poster that...
Yeah.
There you go. That poster that commemorates the opening night of the Amway Center on October 28th, Orlando Magic versus Washington Wizards, October 28th, 2010, first regular season game. And I love that they had this painting done ahead of time, so they had to project, who might start for each team and all that kind of stuff. But you see stuff there on the right side. You see all the details of, at the time, obviously this building was very special to all of us because it signified that the Magic were here to stay. And it was also the nicest building in the league by a wide margin at the time. And it's hard to believe we're now looking at 15 years since that game, which is really crazy. But anyway, that's my last one for tonight. This poster is very cool. I don't remember if they gave this out to everybody or just like the first 10,000 or 15,000, 5,000. I don't know, but it's really cool.
How accurate are the starting lineups?
Well, the Magic was pretty easy back then.
Sure.
2010, like you knew the 5 that you were going to get. But the Wizards, I have absolutely no idea. No idea what the Wizards starting lineup was supposed to be or what it ended up being. Or even, I don't even know if I could interpret all 5 of these drawings. But anyway, very cool. I
have another question. Why is that not framed?
Because I don't have anywhere for it to go, but I might have to switch that up. I got a little bit of space over here. I might be able to put it. But maybe I'll put it there. But
that's definitely something that I think deserves a frame. I have a couple of other things, not that I'm going to pull out, but like I have a few things that like this is just in this little plastic, like kind of top loader that I need to find something really nice to put this in. And I've got like, the jerseys that I mentioned still need to be put up. I've got a few basketballs that I need to put in cases. I know I showed this on the last one over there. I've got the 08-09 Eastern Conference Finals championship team, the entire team and coaching staff signed that. I've got a Shaq signed ball, Penny down at the bottom. I think that's the 03-04 team, like Tracy McGrady's on there, Pat Garrity, Grant Hill, some other guys. I've got a Jameer Nelson one. I've got a Markelle Fultz one up there that I don't know what I'm going to do with because I'm just not going to keep that one. As much as he was a great guy, like I'm not going to be talking to my grandkids 20 years from now about like, the Markelle Fultz years in Orlando.
What I'm excited for, Jonathan, is when we do this show and tell in, like 2047 or something like that, and we can pull out, back in 2025, the Magic rebranded, and we got this really cool button at the rebrand event or something like that. All these, the new things, the things with the new logo, like the stuff behind me, that's going to be pretty cool. But new era begins now. I just wanted to say, like, we're, as we mentioned, 4 weeks away from Media Day, 4.5 weeks from the first game of preseason. I don't know if we want to tease it, since people have made it this far. We do have a big giveaway coming up. Like, I don't know if you want to tease it because it does involve some stuff that you mentioned earlier. And so since you've made it almost an hour into the episode, if you're still here, you get a little early sneak peek at the next giveaway. It is another signed jersey, this time Jalen Suggs, the return of Jalen Suggs coming up here later this month. And so, an autographed Jalen Suggs number 4 jersey is our next giveaway, which is very exciting.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting this season started. And if and when the Magic make, a finals and win a finals, there is nothing I will not do to get a team signed ball of that team. Like will be, I'll sell everything that I have here if I got it to get my hands on that, if that's what it takes.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. I'll sell whatever. The problem is going to be, Jonathan, if and when that day happens, the amount of money that's going to be spent is going to be really problematic.
Well, you're gonna
eat.
have a tattoo. You're gonna have NBA champion memorabilia to buy. Like
jerseys to buy with the patch, the finals patch on it. Like
sure,
champion hats.
Do they do that? You can when a team makes the finals, do they sell jerseys with the finals patch on it?
So I don't know if you can buy them like that online, but I know at least in Indianapolis last year, you could bring any jersey and they would put the patch on it. Now it was a little bit of a cheap. I don't know about cheap, but it wasn't obviously sewn on or anything like that because they did it right there at the team shop.
Nothing's sewn on anymore, my guy.
I know that's the other thing. That's the other thing that stinks. But regardless,
everything's the heat press, the heat, whatever.
They would do that. So, but I don't know if they sell actual like game style jerseys with the final stuff on it. But anyway,
you know what also will be really nice to buy? So you're gonna have to either buy the patch or buy the jersey, but then the next year you're gonna have to buy every jersey with the gold one on the tag.
You're so right about that. You have to rebuy all of them. Yeah. You got to buy the championship hat, got to buy the championship bumper sticker, championship flag for your house, all the things. It's just going to be a lot of money. But
how many times have you gone through, like after a team wins the championship and be like, oh, when the Magic win it, I'm buying this, and this? Because I've never done that, but I know you have.
No, not for NBA. No,
I don't believe you.
I promise you, I could not. I don't like all the other teams. I would never go through and like just have it rubbed in my face that this other team won, a championship when I didn't want. Like OKC, no, I could never go to fanatics.com and browse OKC championship stuff. No, thank you. But
like when the Bucks won the championship, you were like, oh, if and when the Magic do, I would also buy this, and this.
I mean, that thought didn't cross my mind, but yeah, not really. But
okay, do you want to talk about you being so back with college football before we wrap it up here?
No, we're right at an hour, so I think we're good. We can get. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I really wanted to walk me through you watching FSU hand Alabama. I think their first ever loss in August and their first opening loss in 23 years. The unranked Florida State Seminoles.
But yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
That's right.
Beating the 8th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Walk me through you watching that game and your thoughts and emotions.
Yeah, it was a good win.
No. I want the real deal.
Look, here's the thing.
You had the shirt on, you had the hat on. As much as you say you were done, you weren't.
Well, I'm approaching this as just a more casual perspective, and I got to just enjoy a nice, comfortable afternoon. I
don't believe that at all.
Okay, that was the plan, and then good things happen, and I screamed at the TV a few times in joy and clapped a lot and all that stuff. So it's fine. But for real though, I'm not taking a lot from that game because I think there's a good chance Alabama is not very good. And I don't think that's necessarily a great litmus test for the Magic. Or the Magic. Definitely not for the Magic.
No, Florida that doesn't State. Do anything for us actually at all.
I have no idea how good the Magic are based on that game. But Florida State, I don't know how good. I think obviously the team is a lot better than last year, which isn't saying much because that team was historically terrible. But at the very least, we have an offense that's halfway competent. And so I'll take that. But yeah, big test still to come. This Miami game still going on. It looks like they're going to beat Notre Dame. And so they look to be formidable between Miami and Clemson and Florida and a couple other good ACC teams. We'll know pretty quickly here in the next 3 or 4 weeks how good Florida State is. But in the meantime, I'm just sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the ride.
So you're back, though?
Partially back.
That's really, which is kind of crappy because you were like, oh, if they find a way to beat Alabama, but now it's not good enough.
The thing is, I'm trying to control my emotions a little more.
What's the fun in that?
Well, it's a little bit fun because when my teams don't do well, it can just really wreck you, and I don't want to do that anymore. And so I just want to be a little more just casual. I want to be a casual football fan.
If you do that, you'll never experience anything good in life. If everything you're just kind of half in on.
Well, I'm not half in on the Orlando Magic.
To get the good stuff, you got to be all in and prepared to get the bad stuff.
Sure, but ultimately, I've gotten the good stuff from Florida State and from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's why I'm like, I'm all in on the Magic. That's what it is, and I'll just enjoy Florida State.
So how badly do the Noles have to beat East Texas A&M for you to be all the way back?
Nah, it's not going to happen. There's no score.
So until like the Miami game, you're just going to be like, I'm kind of casual.
Pretty much. I don't know if casual is the right word, but I'm just taking a relaxed approach to this season. I'll put it that way.
You're a changed man, because the Kevin Tucker that I know and love, I don't think is capable of that.
Look, I thought I could do better on Saturday, and I didn't. So who knows? We'll see.
So the truth comes out. So you were a psycho about it. Okay.
I wasn't a psycho. I thought I could sit back and enjoy it. But they surprised me. That's the other thing. I didn't expect that. So yeah, they surprised me. I yelled. It is what it is.
So like Noles are, 4-0 October 4th, and they beat Miami. You're all the way back.
Not all the way back. Just
okay. All right. Well, that's going to wrap this one up. It's going to do it for this one. I know those last
by the way,
5 or so minutes.
That's the same day as the Magic Puerto Rico game, by the way. So that's going to be a busy day.
Both of your teams playing Miami that day.
Also true.
Look at that. Look at that.
Hate them both.
You could beat Miami twice in the same day. What a day that would be.
Or lose twice in the same day. So.
No. Don't say that. Well, I know the last 5 minutes have been Luke Sylvia's least favorite minutes in the history of this podcast, listening to us talk about Florida State as his team beat like Long Island University or something like that.
Yeah, Florida always schedules cupcakes to begin the season. Long Island this year, Miami last year, is what it is.
Well, hey, not really. I don't really have a strong connection to this team, but USF had a big week 1 win, unranked South Florida with the 34-7 win over Boise. And they play Florida this weekend.
That one's interesting. Now, the UCF contingent is not going to love the USF mention. I'll just tell you that. But yeah,
well, I grew up 35 minutes from the USF campus. Not much I can do about that.
That's true. But
I got love for UCF. I hope they do well.
Good.
Love for UCF.
Me too. So
is UCF like really concerned with what USF is doing? I don't see those programs really being at the same level the last several years.
They're definitely not. They used to be, in the same conversation. I'm talking like 20 years ago, 15 years ago. What year is this? Yeah, 15 years ago. And so they were a bit of a rivalry. They played every year, known as the War on I-4. And then they went very, very different ways. And UCF has not forgotten about that, and they're very excited about that. But they still keep an eye on the little brother down the road. So
September 20th, speaking of UCF, that's going to be a pretty conflicting day for Kendra Douglas. North Carolina Tar Heels versus the UCF Knights. I will tell you all right now, I'll be rooting for North Carolina in that game.
Yeah, as you should. North Carolina fan. But yeah, that'll be interesting.
I'm looking forward to TCU, UNC, the debut of Bill Belichick tomorrow.
Yeah, or tonight as they're listening to this. Yeah, Labor Day night.
I'm not a college football guy. I turned on that like Texas and Ohio State game, and I was like, this is 1 versus 3. It's pretty boring.
Well, it goes back to my point that preseason polls are stupid and shouldn't be around. But
that FSU game was pretty electric. But
yeah,
okay, that is really going to do it for this one. If you've listened to this point, really appreciate you all so much. For Kevin Tucker, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You all have been listening to The Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!